tell me last week, how did you feel? Was it difficult for you to go through last week, huh? Well, last week was less than pleasant, but I think that has more to do with, or has a lot to do with things other than necessarily the show itself. The bottom line is, in that situation with that particular caller, he gets cut off again. He gets cut off in a similar fashion. What I do regret, what I'm not happy about is, A, I lost my temper, not at that point, but about 10, 15 seconds later. There were some other things going on. You never lose your temper. It's not acceptable. There's no excuse for it. I was wrong for losing my temper. B, I went on the station the next morning and said to folks, you know, if you thought that in any way I was suggesting that you need any kind of coaching or playing credentials to ask a football question, that clearly was not the case, and I apologize if anybody took it that way. The point is, nobody has credentials to come on and insult a man who does his job in front of 20 million people every week and then shows up on Monday night for an hour to let you throw stones at him. It's not going to happen. You can't question his character, his integrity. Unfortunately, the way it works at that radio station, I've been told, because I didn't listen to it, they took the tape, they cut it up, made it sound like I said something else. So I regret that people actually thought that there was a story there. There was no story there. You can't go on and attack this man. You can come on and ask tough questions, ask any question you want, but you can't attack him. And just to clarify, this is already too long an answer, I wasn't protecting him. I was protecting what I think is the integrity of the privilege of having those airways. It's having these cameras. It's going out and talking to people. You do it with a little bit of dignity, or you shouldn't do it at all.
I have no clue what's going on.
Boers and Bernstein.
Talk about things.
Chicago Sports Radio 670. The Score.
All right, everybody got your barf bags ready? Hub Gallagher on CLTV. We thank them for that. Well, anything before I begin? No, go ahead, begin. Very pleasant good morning to you. Going to make you several promises for the next 4 hours or thereabouts. We're going to do the best we can to keep you informed, entertained, perhaps have a laugh or two along the way. I can already see this one coming. And this is radio's best combination of riddlin', diddlin', and country fiddlin'. I'm Terry Boers.
I'm Dan Bernstein. Secondhand news at 11:30. Ron Turner at 11:45. High noon at noon. Jimmy Pearsall at 1. We'll talk a little bit about the Frank Thomas situation and the Cubs managerial situation. And I will admit this, though, that when I heard them punch up the first caller last night, and I was really looking forward to this. This was appointment radio last night on the Dick Jauron Show, and the first caller was Chuck, our friend Chuck. I just said, oh, no. And I thought, you know what? Dick Jauron is right. When it comes to that, I have better things to do than listen to that. I totally agree. Do we have that first call? This is the anticipation, everything, all that happened last week, and they finally went to the phones, and this is what we got.
Dick, let's head to the phones and find out what everybody's been waiting for all day long. We've got Chuck up on the northwest side. Chuck, you're on first. How you doing tonight?
I'm Hub and Mr. Jauron. I'd be a loyal sports center advocate. I'd like to ask, with all the injuries, did possibly put a dent on our football team? I always was a avid football fan all the way back to 85 when Dick, when he was in 63, he always had the winning attitude like Vince Lombardi and George Alice when he played, and yourself, a actual player. I'd like to find out, is there a chance we could have a little bit more seriousness, I mean, from the coaches to determine how is the best to bring back the caliber of our great, because it made our city proud. In 1963, beating the Giants in New York, and then in 85 when we beat New England. I realize a lot of teams have injuries, and we have some key ones. That is absolutely for certain, but I would like to see our back to the old trend. Our monsters of Midway, our real original Chicago Bears.
Here's what we should do today.
Unfortunately, the way it works at that radio station, I've been told, because I didn't listen to it, they took the tape, they cut it up, made it sound like I said something else.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. I've been taken out of content.
Oh, man.
They done took me out of content.
do we have any of what we took out of content?
Oh my!
Do we have
God.
any of what we took out of content from him last week? So to make sure we cut up the tape and we victimized him. That's what we did.
And that's not what really burns me. What burns me is, first of all, he says he wasn't protecting Jauron, and he says you're not allowed to question Jauron's character or integrity. The guy said that his game planning was cowardly.
That's right.
He didn't question his integrity, he questioned his game planning.
That's correct.
And then for him to wrap himself in the sanctimony of the airwaves. No, that's not what happens on these airwaves. You don't get to decide what happens on these airwaves.
No, you don't. Nobody really does. It just happens.
Right. Begins his. Now he's the FCC all of a sudden. I forgot. He's become Newton Minnow now.
Dead.
No,
absolutely.
not
We
dead.
do talk about things.
Definitely not. Very much alive.
Darn it. I don't know. My first reaction when I hear Newton Minnow, dead.
No, very
dead.
much alive.
Well, and then last night, the first one of our guys called about 6:20. Do we have that? About 6:20.
Oh, Bichiro called. Did you hear Bichiro doing fake pigeon English?
There was one 6:20 and one like 6:45. That our guys were out there last night, and it I promised my wife I wouldn't lose my temper. Thank you, Gallagher. We needed to know that. Yeah. Well, you know what? Thank you, Gallagher. Great.
Dave's out on the south side. Dave, how you doing tonight?
Good. How you doing, gentlemen? It's actually Coach Dave. First of all, I just want to let you know, Hub, that I agreed with you 100% yesterday when you said that the Bears do not look like an NFL team. And now I have a question for Coach Dick Jauron, and this is only for Coach Dick Jauron. I want to know how come when we're losing by 20-some points, we can't throw the ball downfield. And I'm going to hang up and turn off my radio because I have a lot better things to do than listen to the two of you.
Dave, your family must be so proud. You don't get an answer, though.
Why not?
Why not? His family is proud.
I don't know.
We're his family.
Yes.
We're his radio family. We're proud of it. Answer the question. Answer the question.
And the thing is, he asked it of Dick Jauron.
That's what he said. He
It's up to Dick Jauron whether or not to give him an answer.
Did we take Gallagher out of content there? Did we do that? Did we cut that up to make him sound like a boob? We did?
Did we do the same thing with him talking about Lions quarterback Joey Heatherton? We took that out of context?
All of it. I think we did all of it.
And Marty Morningwig.
Being a fool?
He's not a fool.
And an idiot?
He said he's not a fool. We made it sound like he is a fool.
We did that. I understand.
You know, it's the wonders you guys can do over there. It just never ceases to amaze me.
I want to hear. He wrapped himself. He tried to justify his behavior and his contempt for callers by wrapping himself in the sanctity of the airwaves.
Oh, did you hear the end of? I'm sure you heard the end of the Jauron Show last night, where he wrapped himself in how much he loves Bear fans. Even though he apparently, when it comes right down to it, he disdains them.
Mm-hmm.
But he loves them. And then he gave the Sleepy Dick a chance for, and here's this paid political announcement. Here he is. And then he goes on about, I'm so proud. We love, my God, that was a pile of crap. And it's really too bad because it should have been good, and it just didn't turn out to what we thought it was going to be. But what a pile of hooey.
And he started the show by saying this will not be a referendum on what happened last week. And then at the end of the management report, he says, well, hey, I'm going over to CLTV, and we can talk about everything that happened last week.
Of course. But he loves Bears fans.
Oh, sure.
He respects their knowledge. He thinks they know their football. He loves them. He's been affiliated with them forever. He can't get enough of them. And we lied, we twisted, we edited to make him seem like something he isn't.
Dick, last question before I let you go. It's funny. All the commentary I heard the last couple days leading up, it's almost like I heard more about this program than I did about the game yesterday and today in particular.
More interesting.
Just your thoughts about Bears fans. And I know I can't imagine a better opportunity in the world for me than to be here and get to broadcast these games and be around this team, around the people of Chicago. And any thoughts you have about your ball club, your team, and your city?
Well, I've said many times, Hub, and I'm never going to change this. I feel very lucky to be here. I don't know of any place I'd rather be than coaching football in Chicago for the Chicago Bears. We've talked about it between us a number of times, Hub, and, we are the charter franchise in the league. We want to get back to where we were a year ago and build on that. We'll do everything we can to get that done, and, we're certainly not any happier than anybody else, and probably a lot less happy about the situation that we find ourselves in right now.
Dick, thank you so much for taking the hour out the evening. We'll look forward to having you back again.
There was at one point there where Hub wrapped himself in his love for Bears fans, too. Love them. Oh, I love them. They're the greatest people in the world. I love them. But some of them are just really stupid and bad and weird, and we can't talk to them.
Well,
this guy,
Chuck, maybe. I'll give him Chuck.
I'm going to love this Chuck thing. Yep. We're going to do that at 1:30. We'll replay it all. We'll set the scene.
I am a sports advocate.
He said I'm a sports center.
Advocate.
Was it Hakeem? Not busy.
Hakeem,
stop calling here. We're not taking your calls. We're going to twist your words and make you seem like you're something you're not.
Oh, that's Terry Boers. I'm Dan Bernstein. The phone number here at Sports Radio 670. The score is 312-644-6767. The score is Barrett's Home Theater fax machine is
cloudily accessible.
That's a robo.
At 312-245-6072. You can email us at BoersBurnsy670@hotmail.com. The producers today, Dan Zampillo, Scott Scher, Johnny Muldoon, and Johnny Christie.
A little Heidi in her today. I always like that. Takes me back to my days as a schoolgirl.
When were those days exactly?
Well, a while ago.
Not like a couple days ago.
No. You know, the old Bobby socks and outfits, things.
One of my favorite things today that I haven't noticed was also Kenny Williams saying that we've talked to Frank about being more a part of the team concept, yet he's a really good... It's not that he's not a team player. What was that? He says he is a team player, but we've talked to him about being more
discuss, please,
of a team player. Okay. That's an interesting distinction,
God,
Kenny.
Here, I never thought I'd be in this position. I'm rooting for Peter Angelos.
So am I.
I'm so rooting. Come on, Peter. Come on, you creepy little thing, you, and give him money.
You rich, creepy.
He's a creepy little man.
Start throwing the money at Frank, please.
Peter, please, Peter.
Can we hear again the Hub from last night talking about how he wouldn't let the guy ramble on because of the sanctity of the airwaves? When we come back, I can't believe that.
Oh, I can believe that.
He's now FCC Chairman Hub Arkush.
Tell me, last week, how did you feel? Was it difficult for you to go through last week, Hub? Well, the last week was less than pleasant, but I think that has more to do, or has a lot to do with things other than necessarily the show itself. The bottom line is, in that situation with that particular caller, he gets cut off again. He gets cut off in a similar fashion. What I do regret, what I'm not happy about is, A, I lost my temper, not at that point, but about 10, 15 seconds later. There were some other things going on. You never lose your temper. It's not acceptable. There's no excuse for it. I was wrong for losing my temper. B, I went on the station the next morning and said to folks, if you thought that in any way I was suggesting that you need any kind of coaching or playing credentials to ask a football question, that clearly was not the case, and I apologize if anybody took it that way. The point is, nobody has credentials to come on and insult a man who does his job in front of 20 million people every week and then shows up on Monday night for an hour to let you throw stones at him. It's not going to happen. You can't question his character, his integrity. Unfortunately, the way it works at that radio station, I've been told, because I didn't listen to it, they took the tape, they cut it up, made it sound like I said something else. So I regret that people actually thought that there was a story there. There was no story there. You can't go on and attack this man. You can come on and ask tough questions, that's any question you want, but you can't attack him. And just to clarify, and this is already too long an answer, I wasn't protecting him. I was protecting what I think is the integrity of the privilege of having those airwaves. It's having these cameras. It's going out and talking to people. You do it with a little bit of dignity, or you shouldn't do it at all.
Marty Morningweg is a fool.
What? I see, I'm not much of a guy. I don't get out much, and I certainly don't get out in forests or other areas, but what sound does a weasel make? Do you have any idea? Is that what it is?
I don't know.
See, I trust your judgment. I don't know, because I think you'd know.
Actually, the weasel that I just impersonated said I just took that out of context, too. But I cut it up to make him sound more weaselly.
Great Lakes Peterbilt GMC in Portage, Indiana is your #1 choice for those who know and appreciate quality work trucks. Call Great Lakes today, 800-686-PETE. That's 1-800-686-PETE.
Be a stand-up guy. Be a stand-up guy about it. Don't say, "Oh, well, it was taken out of context."
It always is.
I didn't really say it. I didn't really say it. Anybody thought I'd say that. It's like, you're wrong. Now, if you thought you heard what you heard, then you're wrong.
We should ask Fred if he actually said that, because we just visiting with Fred if he actually did say he didn't mean anything by it. Although, I don't know how you can listen to it and take anything out of content.
There's nothing to be...
How could you?
And the thing is, nobody insulted and nobody questioned Dick Jauron's character or integrity. It never happened. Nobody questioned his character or his integrity. They questioned the game planning.
Mm-hmm. That's what they did. That's how my memory gets me through the day. I don't know.
I can't believe that. Just be a stand-up guy.
I don't think that's in his nature.
That is just spineless. To hide behind... Well, I don't listen. They tell me that people take it out of context and make me say things I'm not saying. What do you... Do you really think that we're going to let that go? That we're just going to let that stand?
Well, it's the station. It's the station.
Oh, it's this amorphous power of the station. Don't you have, when you're in this business, don't you have somebody that tells you, look, this is what you should do? I mean, any public relations experience or any instinct of image management, of damage control, of anything is take the heat, be a stand-up guy, and don't claim to be taken out of context when it's on the radio. It's not a guy with a notepad
that's right.
who you can say, well, he didn't hear me right. It was a writer who did, and that does happen, but it's on the radio. It's recorded. Everybody heard it at 50,000 watts. You're only going to come out looking dumber when you dig the hole deeper.
Well, Dick Jauron, though, fell on the sword last night repeatedly.
Yeah,
it was the old honey mode last night for Uncle
I'm
Dick.
a bad coach. I'm a bad coach. I'm a horrible coach. I'm a terrible human being. I torture little animals and...
Guys, what's up? All day long, I got people coming up to me saying, boy, you're going to have a lot of listeners tonight. Did I miss the memo? Something going on that I'm not aware of? It seems to be the most anticipated sports talk show in history, and I have no clue what's going on.
Who you crapping?
Well, finally he's right about something.